starts at 10.
The Selma Bridge Crossing Jubilee will commemorate the 60th year since the Bloody Sunday March that led to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. That is when peaceful protesters were beaten by state troopers to prevent the march from Selma to Montgomery. Well, each year, thousands return to the Edmund Pettus Bridge to remember those who fought for the right to vote. This is from 10 years ago. For the 50th anniversary, thousands were there that year. Tonight, on this diamond anniversary of the march, my conversation with daughters of Selma, including a high-profile beneficiary of those events 60 years ago, and those who were on the bridge that day.
We're marching today from Selma to Montgomery.
March 7th, 1965.
Our state capital to dramatize to our nation and to the world our determination to win first-class citizenship.
A young John Lewis led nearly 600 civil rights foot soldiers over the Edmund Pettus Bridge. It was supposed to be the Selma to Montgomery March for Voting Rights.
That march will not continue.
But when they got to the foot of the bridge,
advance toward the group,
it turned into what we now know
that they turn around and disperse
as Bloody Sunday.
When they start spraying that tear gas, start beating people down to the ground.
Images etched in the mind of Cheyenne Webb Christberg.
The horses and the dogs start trampling.
A daughter of Selma.
To the marches.
On that bridge at 9 years old.
I could see people falling, crawling, crying.
This photo of another daughter of Selma, Amelia Boynton Robinson, shows what they endured for the right to vote.
That will not stop until they have full freedom and human dignity.
Just 2 months earlier, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. recognized then Amelia Boynton at a mass meeting in Selma, where she had been registering people to vote since the late 1930s. Here she is being arrested at the Dallas County Courthouse in 1965. Her endurance on full display 50 years later, when at 103 years old, she crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge with the first black president of the United States, President Barack Obama. As much as the Edmund Pettus Bridge is a way to get to where you're going today, on March 7th, 1965, it was the way to the freedom for the right to vote without being discriminated against for African Americans who were stopped just on the other side of this bridge.
But I was trying to get up where Bob Mans, John Lewis, and Jose Williams, I was trying to get up to where they were.
Annie Pearl Avery didn't make it that far on Bloody Sunday. In 1965, she was a member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC.
So they arrested me. Actually, it was a trap. They had people, they had these posse men.
It's exactly how Dr. King's smallest freedom fighter remembers that day. Where did that courage come from?
Well, you couldn't be in the midst of those turbulent times without having courage, without being brave.
In what ways has your life just been one of service to others?
But my participation as that little girl has given me the drive. It has established a great purpose for me in life. It was people like Dr. Martin Luther King who touched my life at an early age that has had a profound impact on my life in terms of the person that I am today. And the things that I do was not only impacting my life, but also impacting the lives of others.
Like a young Terry Sewell,
Madam Speaker,
this daughter of Selma would grow up to become the first black woman to represent Alabama in Congress. This is her 60th year as well. How did growing up in Selma inform Congresswoman Terry Sewell today?
I credit not just a wonderful family, but a whole community of Selma that really nurtured me. And you grow up with a serious appreciation of what happened in Selma. I actually am a lifetime member of the historic Brown Chapel AME Church, so I grew up watching John Lewis and Amelia Boynton Robinson and others come back and reenact the march from Selma to Montgomery, and they would always start with the service at Brown Chapel. involved. So from singing in the children's choir to being an usher, I never thought that I would grow up and actually be able to call John Lewis colleague, let alone mentor and friend.
You mentioned Amelia Boynton Robinson. You really got the opportunity to live her dream, living your own.
You know, she ran in 1964 as the first woman, black or white, to run for the Democratic ticket for Congress, and and it was for the 7th Congressional District, the exact seat that I hold today.
Through the eyes of the daughters of Selma, I'm Sherry Jackson for CBS 42 News.